Avoid this fitness mistake and you will melt your menopause belly and keep it off for good. Most women that I meet are doing this exact thing that is keeping them stuck, frustrated, and almost ready to give up on the thought of ever getting lean again. And here's the kicker. The advice they're following was not designed for women. It was designed for men's physiology. And that's the precise reason, even though they're doing the exercises, following the diets, and all of the advice out there, they're not seeing results. You see, I know this because I lived it. I'm 63 now, but in my late 40s and early 50s, when I was smack in the middle of perimenopause and menopause, I owned a gym. I was super lean and fit, following certain principles that I knew worked for my body. When the world shut down a few years ago, I gained over 20 pounds. My own fault. I was sitting around eating too much, drinking too much, and just having too much fun at home. I had to go back to those principles that I used in my gym to lose that belly fat. And along the way, I started wondering, thinking back to those days, why did so many of the men get away with having some bad habits and still get lean and fit? Meanwhile, the women who were doing a lot of the same things never saw the same results. I started digging into the science, and today I'm going to share that with you. You're going to be surprised by what you hear, and I'm going to give you the exact roadmap that I follow, and I followed back then, to get super lean, super fit, be in fitness magazines, do an Ironman, and really have the body and energy that I had hoped for all along. Hey there, FitWise fam. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ruth. I help women in menopause get super lean, super fit, and live their best life. So quick story. Back when I opened my CrossFit gym, I was pretty much a newbie to the whole fitness space. I was learning as I was going. And one of the things that I noticed was that the guys in my gym, they could work out really hard every day. They had stamina, energy. They seemed to never get tired. I would see them eating all kinds of things. There was one person in particular, he was super lean, he had ripped abs, he looked amazing, and he could literally sit down and eat a bag of chocolate chip cookies and a whole bunch of peanuts and then go out for lunch for a massive sandwich and still stay lean. I was doing a lot of the same things he was doing because I thought my body was the same. And what happened after a number of months was he was still fit and lean. I was fit, but I was not lean. I had a lot of body fat. I didn't look that chiseled person that I had hoped for as a gym owner. And I really started to wonder, why can he get away with that and not me? And that's when I realized that women are not small men. And we have different principles and methods that we need to follow to get the same kinds of results. After all, our bodies are different. Our hormones are different, and we are made completely differently. And the science proves it. A 2014 review in Sports Medicine found that only about 4% of exercise science studies included women. No wonder so much of the advice we've been following just doesn't add up. It was written on male data. It was that frustration that pushed me to dive into the science so I could empower the women who were joining my gym and now my own online fitness clients to have the right processes, tools, and exercise that fits their female bodies. One of the biggest mistakes I see happening today is people jumping on trends that they see on social media. One of those trends is fasting. I call it the fasting trap. A lot of the information out there, once again, was designed for men and not for menopausal women. And I get it. It's tempting. It's tempting to try all these things because you think it's going to be a quick fix. But when you do it, you realize that you may have backpedaled and end up in a worse place than you already are. Time-restricted eating is something I'm going to talk about in a minute. But fasting for long periods of time only left me tired, snapping at people, and having no results in terms of getting rid of belly fat and getting fitter. So the research explains why. A 2025 review in Nutrients found that intermittent fasting reduced performance and recovery in women. You see, without the estrogen buffer, long fasts are literally a cortisol bomb, and cortisol equals fat storage. So now let's talk about time-restricted eating. Time-restricted eating means you're eating within a certain time frame. Yes, it's sometimes called intermittent fasting, but we want to make sure that that time frame that you're fasted isn't too long. So what I personally do is I eat during a 12-hour time frame. That's when I eat my breakfast, my snacks, my lunch. We're going to talk about what to eat in a second, but I stop eating after 12 hours and I don't touch a thing other than water or some kind of clear liquid like a decaffeinated tea at night or something like that. So during those 12 hours, I'm getting all my calories in. After those 12 hours, I rest and digest. That time frame will not spike your cortisol. Sometimes when we fast too long, our cortisol spikes and we store more fat, especially in menopause because of our lower estrogen. So time-restricted eating is important, but going too long can actually be self-defeating. Next thing is eat before you move. Eat protein before you move. There was a study done by Dr. Stacy Sims. She's an absolutely brilliant PhD scientist who studies women and exercise physiology and health. And she did an actual study on women and it proved that women are better off to eat before they work out than waiting and exercising in a fasted state. There's a lot of trends out there going on right now that say eat in a fasted state, you'll burn more fat. But that's different for menopausal women. Now, I like to test things out just like you. I see them on the internet. I'm human and I want to give it a try. I tried working out for 2 months in a fasted state. I would get up in the morning, I would have a quick coffee, and I'd be out in my gym lifting and doing my workout. And I was not seeing the results that I see now that I actually eat before I work out. What was found in that study is women have more energy to work out when they eat with a little bit of protein and a little bit of food in their systems. It doesn't have to be a massive meal. We want more energy when we work out so we can have a better workout. We can lift more, we can exercise better. We have the energy to put in to actually get the job done. So here's what I personally like to eat before I work out. I will either have a little bowl of Greek yogurt with, sometimes I'll put a scoop of protein powder in to boost up that protein, few berries on top. Fantastic for energy. If you're getting some value from this video, hit that subscribe button and click the bell button so you're notified of my future videos and trainings. The other thing I do sometimes is the night before, I'll make a double espresso. I love espresso. And I put it in the fridge. I also put in the fridge a cup of almond milk along with 2 scoops of protein powder. I mix it up, I let it sit in there. And in the morning, I mix the 2 together and it's a beautiful, like delicious coffee latte. And it's got all the protein and it's got a little bit of carbohydrates, a little bit of caffeine. So it really helps me have energy to get my workout done in the morning. Give it a try. A little bit of food, including protein, before your workout. Don't work out in a fasted state because you won't get the same results. Next up, strength training. It's non-negotiable. Back in my 30s and early 40s, I used to run a lot. I thought running was the key to staying lean. And back then, it worked pretty well. But as I entered perimenopause and menopause, running alone just didn't do it. It left me softer and weaker. And I remember back to those days when I used to run with a group of women. It was a little running club. And a lot of the women who were a little bit older than me, they ran a lot. They ran marathons. They did all kinds of races all over the place. They were super fun, but most of them were really heavy. And I was perplexed by that because they were doing all this exercise, but a lot of them were overweight. I was really confused by that until I dug into the science. So science backs this up. A 2023 study showed free weight training improves strength and body composition in midlife women. And another found 20 weeks of heavy lifting boosted strength, balance, and walking speed in women up to age 70. So cardio burns calories in the moment. Strength training burns fat and calories all day long. Back in my gym, I would watch guys crush marathon style workouts. They were super long and they would come back day after day and never really seem fatigued. When some of the women tried to keep up, they would end up injured, tired, sore, fatigued, and ready to give up. That's when I learned our physiology thrives on something different. A 2022 study tested a program of heavy lifting plus sprint intervals in women 40 to 64. The results? Less fat, more lean mass, and big strength gains. So stop copying marathon men. Train like a midlife woman. Here's what it looks like. Strength train 3 to 4 times per week, and then sprint train. What does that mean? It means high intensity interval training. That kind of training where you get your heart rate way up for about 30 seconds and then you take a rest. You do it 3 or 4 times and that's it. That's what you need. On top of that, I recommend walking 8 to 10,000 steps a day. I personally try to walk 15,000 a day. That walking does wonderful things for us as women. It helps reduce stress, which reduces cortisol, which helps with the fat storage. It also gives us some extra cardio that is relatively light, but will help burn calories so that we start shedding fat faster. So stop training like a man. Stop following fitness advice that is designed for men and train like a midlife woman and start seeing results. The next trend that's out there is ice baths. So back when I was training for Ironman and in my gym days when I was training people all the time, all day long, and also doing my own workouts, I used to do ice baths. I would get in there and it was just the awfulest thing. I never enjoyed doing it and I never really felt that good afterwards. And lo and behold, we found out that women respond differently to ice baths than men. Turns out women respond differently. A 2019 study in experimental physiology found that sauna training improved cardiovascular health and endurance in women. Meanwhile, long cold plunges can actually blunt our muscle gains. Short cool dips are fine, but heat is far more effective for us. So saunas are a yes, ice baths, not so much. Now there's nothing wrong with taking a cool dip. I like doing that. Cooler temperatures are fine. They can help your muscles feel a little bit better, but those icy cold ice baths, not so great for menopausal women. So let's talk supplements. When I decided to lose that 20 plus pounds that I had gained when the world shut down, I went back to some basics that I already knew about supplementation. I didn't fall for the gimmicks I was seeing online. And I'm sure you've seen them out there. This pill will melt fat away, or these drops will reset your hormones and you'll shed all your fat. It all sounded too gimmicky and easy, though it was tempting. In fact, I think I did try some drops that did nothing for me, and they were expensive. But here's what I knew. There were a couple of supplements that I knew would support my body as a woman and do amazing things for fat loss, but also for my cognitive function. The first one was creatine. Now, the recommendation is that you take 5 grams of creatine per day. It's not gonna make you big or bulky or anything like that. It's going to support your muscles as you are strength training. The other thing it does is over time, it's gonna help with cognitive function. My mom, she suffers from Alzheimer's. She's 94 now, and she began her decline in her late 60s. That's not too far off from me. So I am doing everything in my power that is scientifically proven to improve cognitive function. Now that 5 grams a day is sort of a baseline. What I like to do is work my way up to about 10% of my body weight in terms of grams of creatine. I dove right into it one day after reading the science on this, and honestly, I felt a little weird taking that much. So I've worked my way up to close to my body weight. Right now I'm taking 12 grams of creatine a day, and I've got to tell you, it helps also lift the brain fog that you can sometimes get during menopause. It's been an incredible supplement. It's not expensive. You can get it just about anywhere. And it's done incredible things for my muscle retention, muscle growth, and cognitive function. The next supplement that I never go without is protein powder. Now, a lot of people don't like shakes, but I seriously don't know how I would get 150 grams of protein into my diet without supplementing with protein powder. I love whey protein. If you're not a whey fan, there's a lot of other vegan types of proteins out there like pea protein that are equally as good. Protein is the building blocks of muscle, and it forms the basis of my diet. I build everything else around protein to make sure that I'm supporting the muscle that I'm growing during the strength training and getting all the amino acids needed to build that muscle. I have a busy life, and always having meat that is cooked, that's available, or eggs that are available, or other sources of protein is not always feasible in my life. So having those types of supplements that supplement protein just make things a whole lot easier. In 2024, a review linked creatine to better memory and processing speed in older adults. So these aren't fads, they're non-negotiables for women in midlife. So here's my question of the day. Have you ever tried fasted workouts? Did they work for you? Or did they leave you feeling tired like they did for me? Drop it in the comments. I'm really curious, and I answer all comments. So if any of this information resonated with you and you're curious about how to build your macros and your protein plan for your diet, I dropped my free 7-day high protein, low glycemic meal plan in the description below. You can grab it there. It's totally free. So when the world shut down, I gained 20 plus pounds. I was not happy. I didn't like having to suck it in to do up my jeans. In fact, I had to break down and go out and buy bigger sizes. That made me even more unhappy. But by following all of these principles, I was able to lose it. And I want that for you too. Remember, your body isn't broken. You're just in menopause. And all you need is a system to follow that was designed for women in midlife. Have a beautiful day.